everybody. I am the Sauntering Spellcaster, sauntering through your mind. Oh dear. Is the volume... Oh boy, it looks like the volume is kind of not all that loud here. Let me see if it sounds good on my end, and if I need to adjust the volume, I can. Oh dear. Is it working right? I hope so. Let me deal with the audio real quick just to make sure. Hold on. Hello? Okay, this looks like it's working better. Alrighty then. As I said before, I am the Sauntering Spellcaster, sauntering through your mind, and other places. And today we are continuing our reading of the Kalevala. We have actually entered a new cycle in the story. So I'm hoping we can all enjoy it. Runot 11. Lemminkäinen steals a wife. It is time to talk of Ahti, that amusing rascal lover. Ahti lad the islander, he the wayward son of Lempi, grew up in a high-born home, with his most devoted mother, at the head of a big wide bay in the shelter of Cape Far. On a diet of fish he flourished, eating perch he stretched up tall, and became the best of men, as he blossomed out red-blooded, and all points quite capable, and a good man all around. Save that he was somewhat wayward, with some rather rakish habits, always playing around with women, always at the all-night parties, to the pleasure of the virgins, at the rompings of their braidheads. Kylie was the island maiden, island flower, brought up in a high-born home. She grew up in a graceful beauty, gracing there her father's hall, sitting on the springy back bench. Long she dwelt there, famed afar, suitors came from far and near, to the beauty's well-known homestead, to her handsome home estate. For his son the sun god wooed her, but she would not go to Sunland, would not go to shine up there through the hurry of the summer. For his son the moon god wooed her, but she would not go to Moonland, there to glimmer with the moon, circling round the orb of heaven. For his son the star god wooed her, but she would not go to Starland, there to twinkle through long nights, and the dark and wintry sky. Suitors came from Viraland, others came from Ingerland, but she would not go there either, and she said in these words, "You are wasting gold for nothing, spending silver to no purpose." I won't go to Viraland, will not start nor even promise, ever to row on Viro waters, or pole among the islanders. I will neither eat their fish nor take a sip of Viro soup. I won't even start for Hungerland. They have hunger everywhere, short of wood, short of shingles, dearth of water, dearth of wheat, dearth of even coarse rye bread. Then the wayward Lemminkäinen, he the handsome man far-minded, vowed that he himself was going up to woo this island flower, woo and win that bride to be, beautiful with braided hair. But his mother tried to stop him. The old matron cautioned him, "Don't you go, my darling son. Don't you go among your betters. They may not put up with you, not those high-born island folks, said the wayward Lemminkäinen, spoke the handsome man far-minded. Since my house is not so high, and my kinship not so great, with my handsome frame I'll conquer, capture with my other features. But his mother keeps insisting that he should not go among them, go among that powerful clan, up to the great island family. There the girls will jeer at you, women will just make fun of you. Lemminkäinen didn't care, and he said so in these words. I'll put an end to women's fun, and the titterings of the hoydens, kick a boy into their bellies, drop a handful into their laps. There's an end to all good fun, even to the best of joking. But his mother cried out, Oh, this miserable life of mine! If you seduce the island women, lead astray their virgin daughters, it would start a row indeed, end up in a big war surely. All the suitors of the island, 100 swordsmen would rise, and attack you, wretched boy, standing all alone at bay. Lemminkäinen didn't care. Heedless of his mother's warnings, Ahti let his stallion out, harnessed up his champion colt. Then he drives off the island, to the well-known island village, there to woo the island flower, woo and win that peerless bride. There the women laughed at him, all the girls all jeered aloud, as he drove up crazily through the lane into the farmyard, overturned his racing sleigh, crashing it against the gatepost. Lemminkäinen showed his anger, tossed his head and curled his lip as he tugged at his black whiskers, and he put into words, Never have I seen this yet, never seen it, never heard it, me the butt of women's laughter, and the tittering of the housemaids. After all, why should he heed them? And he said so in these words, Is there room upon this island, land enough upon the mainland, as a place for me to play in, as a field for me to dance on, at the sporting of the virgins, at the romping of the braidheads? Say the virgins of the island, answer all the headland maidens. There is room upon this island, land enough upon the mainland, as a place for you to play in, as a field for you to dance on, as a herder on a clearing, herd boy on burned over land. But the island boys are skinny, while the island colts are fat. But it made no difference to him. Hired out as cattle tender, in the daytime he went herding, nights he gambled with the girls, making merry with the maidens at the rompings of the braidheads. This is how young Lemminkäinen, handsome man far-minded, did it, put an end to women's laughter and the tittering of the hoydens. There was not a single daughter, not the saintliest of maidens, who escaped from his attentions, by whose side he did not lie, in whose arms he did not rest. There was only one true maiden of the numerous island tribe who would not accept a lover even from the best of men, Kyllikki the beautiful, lovely flower of the island. It was Lemminkä himself, he the handsomest man far-minded, who wore out 100 boots, broke his oars up by the hundreds in pursuit of that proud maiden, chasing after Kyllikki. Now that Kyllikki the lovely put her feelings into words. Why, wretch, are you running round here, like a shore sandpiper drifting, asking for the girls from here, quizzing all the tinny-belted? I've no time to bother with you, till I wear my cornstone out, beat my pestle to a stub, pound the mortar to a mulp. I don't want a hooligan, hair-brained helter-skelt like you. I desire a well-built body, matching with my own proportions. I desire a stately carriage, equal to my own high bearing, and to equal my own beauty, a face far handsomer than yours. Then a little time passed over. Hardly half a month thereafter, it was on a certain day, on a certain summer evening that the girls were out for pleasure, all the lovelies tripping it, dancing in a woodside grove on a very pleasant heath, and the fairest of them Kylike, famous flower of the island. Then the ruddy rascal came, reckless Lemminkäinen driving, with his own good sturdy stallion, with his own very chosen colt, to the center of the playground, at the party of the lovelies, where he snatched up Kylike, flung her in his racing sleigh, laid her on the bearskin rug, on the planking of the sled. Then he laid on with the lash, slapped the racer with the reins, as he coasted on his way, shouting threats as he goes. Don't you virgins ever dare, ever think of tattling on me, that I was ever here at all, that I snatched a girl from here. If you don't obey this warning, I will lay a bad spell on you. Sing your suitors off to war, all your young men to the sword point, never more to be heard of, never more to be seen, walking through the village lanes, riding on the open clearings. Kylike, of course, protested. Flower of the island wailed, Now, I beg you, set me free. Let this child go by herself. Let her go back to her home, go back to her weeping mother. If you do not free me now, let me go back to my home. I have 5 strong brothers still, 7 sons born to my uncle, treaders of the hare's trail, claimants to the virgin's head. Since he would not let her go, she began to sob and plead. Miserable me, born for nothing, grew for nothing. To no purpose lived my time. Now my lot is with an idler, with a no-good ne'er-do-well, going off to war on purpose, always in the thick of battle. Answered windward Lemminkäinen, spoke the handsome man far-minded. Kylike, my own heart's core, my delicious little berry, don't you worry any more. I won't treat you very badly. In my lap when I am eating, hand in hand in my walking, side by side in my standing, and beside me when I'm sleeping. What is it that worries you? What has made you sigh in sorrow? Is it this that worries you? Is it this you're sighing over? That you might be cowless, breadless, lacking in life's common comforts? I have cows, many milkers, Blackie in the boggy meadow. Then there's Strawberry on the hill, Lingonberry in the clearing, sleek without a lot of feeding, handsome without any grooming. There's no tying up each evening, nor the letting out each morning. There's no throwing down of hay, no need of breakfasting or salting. Or is this what worries you? Is it this that you're sighing over? That my family is not great, nor my homestead quite so noble? I have here a fire-swift sword, gleaming flashing blade of steel. It is of the highest born. It is of the highest kin. By the demons it was whetted, by the gods it has been polished. With it I shall raise my kinfolk, and enhance my people's power. With this sword, with this fire blade, with this bright and flashing steel. The poor maiden still was sighing, and she answered with these words. O you Ati, son of Limpy, if you want me for your girl, as your faithful mate forever, as your little chick of love, you must swear an oath unending that you'll never go to war. Even for the want of gold, even for the lore of silver. To this Lemminkäinen answered, I will swear an oath unending that I will not go to war, even for the want of gold, even for the lure of silver. You yourself must also vow not to gad about the village, even to the best of parties, even if you want to join them. Then they vowed their vows together, gave their everlasting pledges in the face of Jumala, under God's own countenance, that Ati would not go to war, nor Kylie gad about the village. Then the wayward Lemminkäinen, urge the horse on with a switch, slap the stallion with a rein, shouting out a sweet goodbye. Fare you well, island meadows, firwood roots and pitchy stumps, where I slumber, where in summer I meandered, and in winter often wandered, snuggling there on rainy nights, taking shelter from rough weather, while hunting this sweet hazel grouse, chasing my dear long-tailed duckling. There are trotting homeward lightly, when young Ati's home appears, whereupon young Kylie asked him, over there a hut is looming, looking like a hungry ruin. Who lives in that little coop? Whose home can that old wreck be? Lemminkäinen answered gaily, don't you worry about the houses. Sigh about your living quarters. We will build us other houses, build us better homes to live in, of the most enormous logs, from the tallest stands of timber. Thus the wayward Lemminkäinen came home proudly with his bride, to his dear and waiting mother, to his cherished, honored mother. Longingly his mother spoke, put her yearnings in these words. You've been gone a long time, son, very long in foreign lands. Proudly Lemminkäinen gloated, I seduced the laughing women, so that I could laugh in turn. On the girls I took my vengeance, got the best one in my sleigh, laid her on my bearskin rug, on the planking of the sled. Beneath the woolen robe I rolled her, so I paid the women back, for their mocking and their hoydens, for their hoity-toity titterings. O my mother, you who bore me, my dear mother, you who raised me, what I went to get I caught, what I went to catch I caught. Now get out your finest bedding, and the softest of your pillows, to sleep on my own grounds, with my young bride in my arms. Said the mother prayfully, Jumala be thanked for all. Praise be to the great Creator, that he gave me such a daughter, such a competent young woman, kindler of the morning fire, splendid weaver of fine cloth, altogether an expert spinner, such a strong one for the washing, for the whitening of the clothes. You yourself just thank your luck that she captured such a good one. Goodness our Creator promised, good the merciful has given. Fair the bunting on the snow, fairer still at home beside you. White foam upon the sea, whiter still what you can hold. Bright the star up in the sky, brighter still is your betrothed. Make your floors wider now, set in bigger windows also, and erect the walls all new, and construct the whole house better, with the door-sills at the front, and the new doors on the door-sills. Now that you have got your bride, and so beautiful to look at, even better than yourself, of a greater clan than yours. Runot 12. The Vow Broken. Then that haughty Lemminkäinen, he the handsome man far-minded, for a time lived pleasantly with his young bride by his side, nor did he go off to war, nor Kylie to the village rompings. Then upon a certain day, on a certain early morning, it so happened Lemminkäinen set out for a catch of fish roe, did not come home in the evening, and for one night he was absent. Kylie went off to the village, to the rompings of those hoydens. Who is going to bring the gossip? Whose tongue now will do the tattling? It was Einike who told it. Einike, Ati's sister, told it to him, tattled it. My dear Ati, little brother, Kylie has been gallivanting, going round to strangers' gates, to the romping of those hoydens, at the parties of the braidheads. Ati lad, the only son, he himself lieth Lemminkäinen, was dumbfounded and so angry that for long he brooded on it. Then he spoke out to his mother. O my mother, my old mother, go and wash my war shirt now in the black blood of the adder. Dry it quickly for my wearing, for I'm going off to war, with the sons of Borealis, with the Lappish lads of Northland, Kyleki's gone gallivanting, running round to strangers' gates, to the romping of those hoydens, at the parties of the braidheads. Kyleki of course protested, and she got her word in first. Oh, my dear darling Ati, please don't go off to war. For I saw a dream while sleeping, as I was lying fast asleep. Fire as from a smithy's furnace, flashing out and blazing up, right along the rear wall terrace. Then it whirled into the house, like a roaring cataract, from the floor up to the ceiling, the one floor to another. There the wayward Lemminkäinen answered in these words himself, I take no stock in women's dreaming, any more than wifely vows. O my mother, my dear bearer, go and bring my armor here. Have my battle gear made ready. Now I have but one desire, want to drink the battle beer, and to taste the mead of war. But to this his mother answered, Ati, you, my only darling, do not go off to the wars. We have lots of ale at home. Alder kegs are filled with it, behind their oakwood bungs fermenting. I will bring you drink aplenty, even if you drink all day. I don't want your ale, he said. I'd rather drink the river water from the blade of tarry ore, sweeter to my palate now than to homemade brew you offer. So bring out my armor here. Have my battle gear made ready. I am off to Pohjola, to the lands of Lappish lads, to inquire about their gold and demand to see their silver. Said the mother of Lemminkäinen, Oh, Auntie, my dear boy, we have gold coins in abundance, silver pieces in the storeroom. Only yesterday a slave, very early in the morning, furrowed out a field of adders, turning up a snaky acre, when the plowshare raised a chest lid, which disclosed a hoard of coins, heaped in hundreds, stacked in thousands. Quick I rushed it out of sight, hid it in the storehouse loft. I don't want your gold, he answered. If I win a mark in battle, I will value it far more than the golden hoard at home, with the store of plowed up silver. So bring out my armor, mother, my full battle harness ready. I am off to war in Northland, off to fight the lads of Lapland. I am wanting, I am thinking, I myself would like to hear it with these ears, see it with these eyes of mine. If there is a girl in Northland, virgin in that dismal darkland, who will not accept a lover, will not take the best of men. And again his mother pleaded, Oh, Ati, my dear boy, you have Kyleki at home, your own wife of higher station. Horrible to think of it, 2 wives there in one man's bed. Said the wayward Lemminkäinen, she is just a gallivanter. Let her run to all the rompings, let her sleep in all the cabins, all the sportings of the virgins, at the rompings of the braidheads. But his mother still forbade him. The venerable woman cautioned him, Do not go, my darling son, to the houses of Pohjola, without the knowledge of their magic, without the skill to match their spells, not to the fires of Northland's lads, to the plains of Lapland's children. There a Lapp will sing you down, and a Finmarker will thrust you, mouth in soot and head in clay, to the elbows in the embers, with your hands in hottest ashes, there upon the burning boulders. Lemminkäinen answered her, They bewitched me once before, wizard's wit and adder's curse. Once upon a summer's night, 3 Laplanders put me through it, stretched out naked on a slabstone, beltless, not a stitch of clothing, not a twist of string around me. This is what they got from me. This is what the wretches got, what an axe gets from a flintstone, or an auger from a gragrock, or a slab of wood from slip ice, what death gets from empty houses. All their threats I turned against them, and they came out in reverse. They intended to amaze me, threatened to drown me in swamp, make me into stepping logs, cause my stepway over slushy places, sink me to my chin in mire, with my black beard in a bad place. But it did not even scare me, not me, such a man as I. I myself now turned enchanter, and began my own incantation, sang the warlocks with their arrows, and the bowmen with their weapons, enchanters with their iron knives, and the seers with their steel, sang them to the falls of Tuoni, where the froth is fiercely foaming, under the highest cataract, into the all-devouring whirlpool. Let the warlocks slumber there, let the evil sorcerers sleep there, till the grass grows over them, through their heads, through their helmets, through the shoulders of the shamans, through the shoulders of the sleepers, of the wizard slumberers. But his mother still objected to Lemminkäinen's going there. Mother forbid her dear son, wife contending with her husband. Do not go, my son, I tell you, to that cold and dismal village, to that dim-lit Pohjola. Certain ruin will befall you, ruin on you, noble boy. Downfall of lithe Lemminkäinen. Tell it with 100 tongues, even then I'd not believe it. There's no magic singer in you, to ousting the lads of Lapland. You don't even know their language, not a single spell in Lappish. Just then wayward Lemminkäinen, he the handsome man far-minded, was busy combing out his hair, brushing back his handsome locks, crashed the comb against the wall, flung the brush against the stove-post, and he growled out his answer, Lemminkäinen will be lost, and the noble boy be ruined, when that comb begins to bleed, and that brush turns red with blood. Then the wayward Lemminkäinen set out for gloomy Pohjola, heedless of his mother's warnings, and against her dire dissuasions. He helts himself, he belts himself. He puts on his iron shirts, girds himself in belts of steel. He puts the matter into words. A man is hardier in a harness, better in a shirt of iron, stronger in a belt of steel in the face of Lapp magicians, readier to destroy the weak ones, nor worry much about the strong ones. So he took his own good sword, quickly seized his fire-swift blade, which was whetted by the demons and polished by the gods, sheathed it in well-lined scabbard, tied it safely to his side. Where shall a man prepare himself? Stalwart man secure himself. He prepares a bit already. Stalwart man secures himself at the door beneath the rafter, by the doorpost of the cabin, and outdoors there at the lane's mouth, at the farthest of the gateways. There a man could guard himself, only against the women folk. Those precautious are not strong ones, and the shelter unreliable. So he sought security, secrecy from all the menfolk, where a pathway forks in two, there upon a blue rock's back, on the brink of shifting quicksands, on the brim of bubbling fountain, by a foaming fall of rapids, and the churn of mighty waters. There lithe Lemminkäinen chanted, and composed his counter-magic. Up, ye swordsmen, from the earth! Earth's coval spirits waken! From the deep wells up, ye fencers! From the rivers rise, ye bowmen! Rise, O forest, with your woodsmen, all the backwoods with your nations. Come thou, old man of the mountain, come thou with thy gathered forces. Water demon with your terrors, water mistress with your people, primal woman with your powders. Up, ye maids from every dell, finely dressed ones from the marshes. Come ye all to be my comrades, aid a man who stands alone, and protect a famous hero from the arrows of the warlocks, from the sword of the sorcerers, from the iron knives of wizards, from the weapons of the marksmen. And if these are not enough, I can think of better ways. There are higher powers to call on. There's the Ancient of the Skies, who holds sway among the clouds and directs the scattered cloudlets. O thou Ukko, god of gods, ancient father of the heavens, thou the speaker from the clouds, whose word is heard across the heavens, give me now a blade of fire, scabbarded in sheaths of flame, wherewith to scatter my opponents and to ward off evil magic. Slay the earthbound sorcerers, overwhelm the water demons, so to clear the way before me and behind or overhead, or beside me, left or right, beat them down on every side, fell the warlocks on their arrows, wizards on their iron knives, and the sorcerers on their steel, all the ruffians on their swords. Then the wayward Lemminkäinen, he the handsome man far-minded, whistled his colt up from the coppice, golden-maned one from the stubble, harnessed up the fiery red one, backed the colt between the shafts, he himself sat in the sleigh, slumped down in the basket sleigh, struck his racer with a switch, raced him with the knotted lash, ran the racer, journey quickened, slid the sleigh, the way was shortened, while the silver sand was singing, and the golden heath wide humming. Travelled one day and a second, travelled even on the third day. It was then upon the third day that a village loomed before him. Then the wayward Lemminkäinen coasted forward in his sleigh, drove along the nearest road, and approached the nearest homestead. From behind an empty prop, over the door-sill he inquired, "Is there anyone in this homestead to undo my racer's breastband, lower my sleigh shafts to the ground, and release my racer's shaft bows?" Said a child from the floor, small boy from the stair-top answered, "There is no one in this homestead to undo your racer's breastband, lower your sleigh shafts to the ground, and release your racer's shaft bows." Lemminkäinen was not worried, whacked his racer with the whip, with his beaded lash a jingle, as he coasted on his way out along the middle road and approached the middle homestead. From behind an empty prop over the doorsill he inquired, "Is there anyone in this homestead who can take my racer's reins, able to undo his breastband and unhitch the leather traces?" Snarled a woman from the fireplace, an old clack-tongue from the stove bench. "Surely there is none in this house, many a man to take your reins, able to undo the breastband, lower the sleigh shafts to the ground. There are tens of them or hundreds who can give you good conveyance, offer you a horse to ride on, to get home on, ugly frog, off to where you came from, bad one, to your master's homestead running, to the doorsteps of your mistress, to the gateway of your brother, to the stair-top of your sister, long before this day is done, long before the set of sun." Lemminkäinen was not worried, as he heedlessly replied, "May such hook-chins all be shot with an arrow through the jaw," lashed his racer to a run, hurried forward hummingly, took the upmost road this time, and approached the upmost homestead. Now approached the he intoned a magic spell. Shut the barker's mouth, O Hissy, and the devils clamp his jaw. Put a lock upon his muzzle, and a bolt between his teeth, so that he can't make a whimper till the man has passed him by. As he halted in the courtyard, smacked his lash against the ground, from it rose a misty vapor, in the mist a dwarf appeared, who undid the horse's breastband, lowered the sleigh shafts to the ground. Then the wayward Lemminkäinen cupped his ear and listened closely. Although no one caught him at it, no one even noticed him. From outside he heard the runos, through the chink moss conjurations, through the wall a magic music, singers through the window hatch. Then he looked into the house, peered in from his hidden corner, saw the house was full of adepts, benches crowded with enchanters, side walls lined with Hissy's harpers, doorway jammed with sorcerers. On the back bench sat the seers, wizards in the chimney corner. They were chanting Lapland runos, howling out the hymns of Hissy. Then the reckless Lemminkäinen dared disguise himself and enter, in another form entirely. So he went into the house, got in through the log-lock corner. As he entered, he addressed them. Worth of a song is in its ending. Brevity in poems is beauty. Better that you end it shortly than be cut off in the middle. Then the mistress of Pohjola, pacing where the floorboards meet, in the center of the floor, questioned the intruder smartly. Here we had a dog just now, iron-colored mongrel watching, flesh devourer and bone biter, always ready for fresh blood. Who are you among your clansmen? Of what rank among your kinsmen? Coming in this house of mine, sneaking in through log-built walls, without any watchdog hearing, quite unnoticed by the barker. To this Lemminkäinen answered, Mark you, I have not come here without craft or magic art, without power or knowledge either, nor without my father's magic, unprepared by my elders, to be eaten by your dogs, to be chewed up by your barkers. As a lad, my mother washed me 3 times on a night of summer, 9 times on a night of autumn. 3 and 9 times she prepared me over a knower of every road, master magician everywhere, and my home a magic singer, one who knows his way abroad. Then the wayward Lemminkäinen, he the handsome man far-minded, proved his power as magic master, and began his incantations. From his coat hem fire was streaming, in his eyes a light was gleaming, as the son of Lempi sang, as he sang and worked his magic, sang the best of singers down, made of them the worst of singers, fed the mouse with pebbles edgewise, boulders after boulder flatwise, heaped upon the best of them, best magicians, best of singers. All such miserable men he scattered, hither and yon to barren tundras, fields unplowed and fishless ponds, without a single swimming perch, to the mighty falls of Finnmark, into the boiling, whirling maelstrom, into foam beneath the currents, there as boulders in mid-rapids, conjured them to flame like fire, and to flash like shooting sparks. Thither wayward Lemminkäinen charmed the swordsmen with their swords, and the war men with their weapons. Charmed the old ones, charmed the young ones, charmed and turned the Middle Agers, leaving only one uncharmed, a most wicked cattle herder, that old woman, that shut-eye herdsman. Wet Hat was the evil cowherd, and he spoke out with resentment. "Oh, you brat, you son of Lempi, charmed the young and charmed the old, and in turn the middle-agers. Why did you not charm me also? Said the wayward Lemminkäinen. This is why I did not charm you, since you're so ugly to look at, let alone the touching of you when you were a stripling boy, and a worthless cattle herder. You deflowered your mother's child, raped your very own sister, and you harried all the horses. Then abused the mares and fillies on the swamps and in the quicksands, where the muddy waters gather. Then the evil cowherd Wet Hat felt a fierce and vengeful hatred. From the door he slammed out madly, through the yard and open country, ran to Tuonela's dark river, to the sacred river's whirlpool, waited for the man far-minded, waited there till Lemminkäinen would be coming back from Northland, passing on his homeward journey. Runot 13. The Elk Chase. Said the wayward Lemminkäinen to the Dame of Pohjola, give me now one of your maidens, bring your girls out here to me, very best of all the bevy, tallest of the flock for me. Said the Dame of Pohjola, I won't give you any daughter, nor push forward any virgin, not the best one, not the worst one, not the tallest, not the shortest. You've a wedded wife already, bedded housewife of your own, answered wayward Lemminkäinen. Then I'll bind out Kyllikki, bind her at a neighbor's threshold, bind her at a stranger's gate. Here I'll get a better woman, so bring out your daughter for me, most adorable of virgins, and the loveliest of the braidheads. Said the Dame of Pohjola, no, I will not give my daughter to a ne'er-do-well like you, nor to any man unworthy. Come and ask me for the girls, for the flower-headed ones, when you ski the demon elks down from the far-back demon's country. Then the wayward Lemminkäinen fixed his spearhead, strung his crossbow, and aligned his bow bolts ready. But he posed himself a problem. Though my spear is ready shod, all my club-head bolts prepared, and my crossbow strung and ready, I've no left ski for swift sliding, and no right ski for quick healing. There the wayward Lemminkäinen pondered on it, thought it over. Where to get the right-hand skis? Where get any kind of skis? Off to Copy's house he hurried, there to Kyllikki's own smithy. Oh, you clever Vojelander, handsome Copy, wise Laplander, make me now true racing skis. Carve out splendid right-hand skis, swift to race the demon's elk from the far-back demon country. To this Copy answered mocking, as he hurried out the words, skiing down the elk is useless. You'll get nothing for your pains, but a hollow hunk of punkwood, even that much with great grief. Lemminkäinen was not worried, so he answered him abruptly, make a left ski for swift sliding, and a right ski for quick healing. Switch to catch the demon's elk from the far-back demon country. Kyllikki the smith of left skis, Cowpy smith of right-hand skis, and the autumn made the left ski, and the winter carved the right ski, took a day to shape the ski pole, and the next day scarved the snow disk. Then the left was fit for pushing, and the right one for quick healing. Now the ski pole too was ready, and the snow disk neatly fitted. For the pole an otter skin, for the disk a red fox paid. Then he greased his skis with butter, and with reindeer tallow slicked them. He himself is wondering, as he says it in these words, is there any young man now, of this growing generation, who can swiftly push the left one, quickly kicking with the right one? Said the wayward Lemminkäinen, spoke the ruddy rascal thus. Truly there is such a youth in this growing generation, who can swiftly push the left one, quickly kicking with the right one, with his quiver on his back, and his new bow on his shoulder, deftly handling now his ski pole. Lemminkäinen went his way, started pushing with the left ski, quickly kicking with the right one, and he boasted as he went down, "Nothing under God's own sky, underneath this lid of heaven, not a creature in the forest, not a single 4-foot runner, none that cannot be surprised, none that can't be overtaken by the skis of Kalevala's son, by the speed of Lemminkäinen." Happened that the demons heard him, and they saw a chance for mischief. So an elk they fabricated, and the devils made a reindeer. For the head a hollow stump, for the horns a fork of sallow, legs of shoreline switches woven, thin-grown saplings for the shanks, and a fence rail for a backbone, sinews made of withered grasses, eyes of yellow water lilies, and the ears of lily pads, made the flesh of rotten wood, covered with skin of spruce bark. Hissy then exhorts the elk, urges on the goblin reindeer, "Run now, run, you demon's elk, leg it quick, you noble creature, to the calving drowns of Lapland, where the reindeer drop their young. On the field of Lapland children, ski this fellow to a sweat, sweat him dry, this Lemminkäinen." Then the goblin reindeer ran. Headlong ran the elk of Hissy, galloped past the barns of Northland, through the yards of Lapland children. In the tents upset the buckets, kicked the kettles off the fire, dumped the meat stews in the ashes, spilled the sauces in the cinders. From the yards arose an uproar, from the yards of Lapland children. Dogs were barking, children crying, and the Lappish women laughing, all the other folk complaining. Lemminkäinen all the while chasing down the elk of Hissy, skiing over field and fen. And across the open clearings, from his skis fire was spurting, and his ski sticks' points were smoking. But the elk ran out of sight and out of hearing. He skied all over hill and hollow, and the lands beyond the sea, over Demon's Wilderness, heaths of Kalma the grave spirit, and before the mouth of doom. Back of Kalma's great estate, the grave spirit tilts his head up, and the mouth of doom is open, wide to take the fellow in, and to swallow Lemminkäinen. But he missed him altogether, could not manage it in time. Still there was a spot unskied, backwoods corner still untouched, and the Northland wild back country, in the barrens of broad Lapland. Even to that place he skied, to explore that backwoods corner. Thus as he was getting nearer, there he heard a great commotion. From that far back Northland country, from the yards of Lapland children, he heard the barking of the dogs, crying of the Lappish children, Lapland woman loudly laughing, and the other Lapps complaining. Then the wayward Lemminkäinen turned his skis in that direction, where he heard the watchdogs barking, and the yards of Lapland children. When he got there he inquired, why were all the women laughing? Women laughing, children crying, and the old folk all complaining. What were the grey dogs barking for? This is why the women laughed. Women laughed and children cried, while the old folk were complaining, and the grey dogs all howling. Though the yard a goblin ran the slick hoof, ran the demon, overturning tubs and buckets, kicking kettles off the fire, dumping meat stews in the ashes, spilling sauces on the cinders. Thereupon the ruddy rascal, he the wayward Lemminkäinen, slid his left ski on the snow like an adder in the stubble, and the bog pine ski, the right one, slithered like a living serpent. As he started, pole in hand, these commands he flung back at them. Let the menfolk all be carriers, carriers of the elk all capture. All the women here in Lapland, let them scour out all the kettles. All the children here in Lapland, let them gather all the kindling. All the kettles here in Lapland, all for cooking of the elk. Kicking, straining all his muscles, he put on a burst of speed. With the first kick out of sight, with the second out of hearing, with the third kick flank to flank, overtook the demon's elk. Then he snatched a maple stake, with a loop of birchen withes, tied the goblin to the stake, and an oaken pin, and said, "Stand there now, you elk of Hissy, dance, you pretty, prancing reindeer." There he stroked the creature's back, smoothing down his handsome hide. "There's a soft bed for me here. What a smooth pad that to lie on. What a sweetheart by my side. Sweet young chick just budding out." Then the goblin elk got angry, and the reindeer started kicking. And the beast itself exclaimed, "Let the devil be procurer. Hisi, get your girls to sleep with. Find you women to fool around with." Then it broke out on a rampage, broke the bonds of birchen withes, snapped the stake of maple wood, kicked apart the oak corral. It set out to speed away. Off it galloped on its flight, speeding over field and fen, over bushy hillsides fleeing, out of sight and out of hearing. There the ruddy rascal raged, fumed with fury and with vengeance, angered to the point of madness. After the demon elk he skied, when he kicked off for the start. At the strap the left ski broke, breaking, cracking at the footplate, and the right ski at the heel, as his pole's point popped away, and the disc came off its fittings, as the elk of Hisi galloped, till its head was out of sight. Standing there, Lemminkäinen bowed his head, stunned, bewildered, gazing at his scattered gear. Then he voiced all feelings thus: "Never, never in all time, let another of our men, armed with arrogance alone, go out hunting in the forest, skiing down the demon's elk, as did I, unlucky fool. I have ruined the best of skis, and my handsome ski pole too, that the readiest of my spears." Runot 14. The Death of Lemminkäinen. Lemminkäinen hesitated, thought it over, pondered on it. Which way should he now proceed? Which of two paths should he follow? Quit the hunting of the elk and just go back home alone? Or to try to chase once more, skiing round just leisurely, please the mistress of the forest and the daughters of the wild? Then he speaks out in these words, says it in these utterances: "O thou Ukko, god of gods, thou the father of the heavens, make a pair of straight skis for me, pair of swift skis left and right, with which I may glide on lightly, out across the fields and fens, to the very haunts of Hisi, across the heathlands of the north, on the heels of Hisi's elk, on the running reindeer's track. To the woods I go from men, to my labors in the open, out along the trails of Tapio, and by way of Tapio's houses. Greetings to you, hills and mountains. Greetings to the humming fir woods. Greetings to the light green aspens. Welcome now the one who greets you. Gently, spirit of the woodlands, softly, master of the wilds. Lead me to that wooded island, to the hidden hillock take me, where the quarry can be caught and the booty brought to bay. Nyriki, son of Tapio, clear-skinned red cap of the forest, blaze a trail across the country and set guideposts on the hills that a stupid man may follow, utter stranger find his way, while he's hunting down the quarry, scouring the forest for it. May Leaky, the forest mistress, fair of figure, clear-skinned matron, set your golden game in motion. Let your silver come before me on the pathway of the hunter, on the footsteps of the seeker. Take the golden keys that jingle on the ring against your thigh. Open wide the stores of Tapio. Unlock the fortress of the forest on the day that I go hunting, while I'm tracking down the quarry. But if you are shy to do it, call upon your serving maids. Give the task then to your hirelings, to the hearers of commands. You would be no mistress here if you kept no serving girls, at the least 100 of them, or 1,000 order takers. Guardians of your roaming herds, shepherdesses of your flocks, little pet maid of the woodlands, Tapio's maiden honey mouth. Play now on your honey pipe, piping it so honey sweet in the ear of your good mistress, pleasing mistress of the woodland, so that she may hear it clearly, and awaken from her sleeping, since she does not even waken, to my ceaseless supplication, though I clack with golden tongue. There the wayward Lemminkäinen, roaming gameless all this time, skied the lowlands and the highlands, skied the backwoods and the barren, far as God's own charcoal hill and the burnt-out heaths of Hisi. Skied the first day, skied the second. On the third he climbed a mountain. From a big rock on the mountain, cast a glance to northwestward. Northward looked across the marshes. There he saw the house of Tapio, where its doors were gleaming golden from the north across the marshes, through the scrub below the hill. Lemminkäinen hurried over toward it, crept right under Tapio's window, stretching up and leaning over, peered in through the 6th bright window, saw the old wives living there the givers of the games, keepers of the hunter's crop, lounging in their working clothes, rumpled ragged in old tatters. Said the wayward Lemminkäinen, how now, mistress of the woodland, living there in working clothes, in those wrinkled thresher's rags, so very black your figure, your appearance simply awful, with the front of you so filthy, your whole body looking ugly? When I last was in the wilds, I beheld 3 woodland castles, one of wood, one of bone, and a third one built of stone. On each side of each great castle, 6 bright golden windows gleaming, and I looked in through the window as I stood beneath the wall. There the master and the mistress, and their daughter Kullervo, with the rest of Tapio's people, all were jingling with bright gold, All were swaggering round in silver. As for Meliki herself, kindly matron of the woodland, on her arms were golden bracelets, golden rings upon her fingers, golden fillet on her head, and her curls were also golden, beads of beauty round her neck, and her earrings gleaming golden. Darling mistress of the forest, honey matron of the woodland, throw away those hay-stuffed boots, your bitch-bark shoes for Swiden Burke, and strip off those thresher's rags, and take off that work shirt too. Now put on your lucky dress, and your bottom-favoring bodice, on the days that I go hunting, while I'm searching for the quarry. I am getting weary wandering, empty-handed all the while, bored unless you give me something. Give me something now and then, but you pay me no attention, since no game has come my way. Long the day and sad the evening for the empty-handed hunter. Old man of the forest, greybeard, piney-hatted, lichen-coated, clothe the woodlands in fine linen, dress the backwoods up in broadcloth, aspens all in light and blue jackets, elders in their choice array, wreathe the evergreens in silver, and the spruces all in gold, tall old firs with belts of copper, and the pines in belts of silver, birches decked with golden flowers, and the stumps with gilded trinkets. Now bring back the splendor here, as it was in better days, like the moon and fir boughs gleaming, like the sun and pine tops shining, and the forest filled with odors, smell of mead and smell of honey, though the wide blue haze of woodland, smell of sweetwort round the clearings, swamps the smell of melted butter. Woodland girl, willing maiden, wind maid, daughter of old Tapio, drive the quarry from its lair, out into the wildest clearings. If they lumber lazily, or are stubborn in their going, take a whipper from a thicket, snatch a birch rod from a hollow, using it to tickle a rump, or to prod a groin to speed them. Make them hurry, running quickly, where the hunter hides in ambush, waiting for the coming quarry. When the game is on the run, chase it down along the track. Place your palms, one on each side, as a fencing to enclose them, so they cannot leave the trail, turning suddenly aside. If the game should jump the track, suddenly swerving to the side, lead them back on by the ears, or else drag them by their horns. Is old Pine Brush in the way? Then just heave it to one side. Fallen tree trunk in the path? Break in two and toss away. If a fence comes in the way, tip it till it's leaning over. Tie it down then with 5 withes. Tie it at each 7th stake. If a river runs before you, or a brook across the trail, cross it with a silken bridge and a red cloth for a stepway. Guide them thus across the gulf, lead them forth across the water, over the river of Pajola, across the foaming cataract. Mistress of the house of Tapio, master of the house of Tapio, venerable greybeard of the forest, golden king of woodland haunts, Mermerki the forest mistress, matron giver of the game, bushwife in your sky-blue mantle, Finland mistress in red stockings, come now to exchange our gold, and to barter off our silver. Here is gold the age of moonlight, and my silver old as sunlight, long ago brought from the war, from the risk of battle threat. They just wear out in my wallet, tarnish in my tinderbox. If there's none to change my gold, barter for my waiting silver. So the wayward Lemminkäinen for a long time went on skiing, singing songs in glade and grove, thrice along the forest aisles, pleased the matron of the forest, even Tapio himself, and delighted all their daughters, all the virgins of the wild. They chased and ran the demon's elk, drove him from his hidden lair, from behind the woodland hill, for the stronghold of the demon, to the pathway of the huntsman, where the singer waited for him. Lemminkäinen twirled his lariat over the shoulders of the elk, round the neck of the camel's colt, which prevented it from kicking. When he went to stroke its back, then the wayward Lemminkäinen spoke the offertory words. Lord of backwoods and landmaster, handsome dweller of the heath, may leaky woodland matron, kindly giver of the game, come now, take my offered gold, and accept my silver pieces. Place your linen on the ground, spread your favorite linen out, there to catch the gleaming gold, to contain the shining silver. See that none of it spills over, to be dirtied in the dust. Then he rode to Pohjola. On arriving, he announced, I skied down the demon's elk from that far back demon country. Woman, give me now your daughter for my fair young bride to be. But Dame Louhi answered him, Quite so, I will give you my daughter. You may have your bride, but only when you've bridled the big brown, the great gelding of the demon. He sees colt with foaming jaws in the far back demon's meadows. Then the wayward Lemminkäinen, taking up his golden reins and the silver-mounted halter, went to hunt the horse of Hisi, searching for the golden mane in the far-back demon meadows. Stepping lightly, he went hurrying over verdant meadow lands till he reached the sacred plain. There he hunted for the horse, looking for the flaxen mane. On his belt the yearling's reins, with the harness of his shoulders. Searched for one day, searched a second, climbed a big hill on the third, climbed a rock upon the summit, whence he looked out to the eastward, glancing also to the southward. There he saw the golden mane, on a sand patch in a fir grove. From its hair fire was flaming, from its mane the smoke upstreaming. Then did Lemminkäinen pray, O thou Ukko, god of gods, Ukko, keeper of the clouds, ruler of the random cloudlets, open up the heavens wide, all the windows of the sky, rain the iron hailstones down, let the freezing sleet descend on the mane and on the flanks of this blaze-browed demon gelding. Ukko, the supreme creator, the great god above the clouds, stirred the firmament to fury, split the lid of heaven open, pelted sleet and poured out slush, iron hailstones hurling down, smaller than a horse's head, bigger than a human skull, on the mane and on the flanks of the blaze-browed demon gelding. Then the wayward Lemminkäinen went to look it over nearer, to inspect the beast more closely. Coaxingly he spoke to it. Well, good horse of demon land, foam-chinned colt of demon mountain, stretch out now your golden muzzle, and thrust in your silver head to this golden bridle here, with its rings and silver bells. I will never treat you harshly, never drive you very hard. In short stretches at a time, I will drive on lap by lap, yonder up to Pohjola, to my cranky mother-in-law's. If I slap you with the reins, flip a switch along your flank, it will be but silken line, or a strip of softest broadcloth. Hissy's brown horse, foam-chinned colt, stretched its golden muzzle forward, and he thrust its silver head, and the golden bridle there, with its rings and silver bells. Thus indeed did Lemminkäinen quickly bridle the great gelding, bit into the golden mouth, bridle on the silver head. Then he leaped upon its back, on the blaze-browed demon gelding, smacked the racer with a switch, slapped it with a willow shoot, drove a little farther on, trotted up a barren slope, to the northward side of a mountain, over a monstrous ridge of snow, to the house of Pohjola, through the dooryard to the hall, and arriving there he said, I have bridled the great gelding, harnessed Hissy's foam-chinned colt, in the verdant meadow lands, on the sacred meadow border, and skied down the demon elk, and the way back field of Hissy. Woman, give me now your daughter, give her to me for my bride. But the Dame Loie answered only, Then I'll give my daughter to you, give her for your bride to be. When you shoot the beautiful bird, shoot the swan of Tuonela, swimming on the death-dark river by the sacred river's whirlpool, with one shot and one arrow, taking but a single arrow. Then the wayward Lemminkäinen, he the handsome man far-minded, went to where the swan was singing, hunting for the long-necked bird. From the lower depths of Mana, through the caverns of the dead, with his crossbow on his shoulder and his quiver on his back, he went on to Death's dark river, where the sacred whirlpool twisted, stepping quickly, swinging lightly. There was Wet Hat, the cowherder, blind old man of Pohjola, watching there by Tuoni's river at the sacred river's whirlpool. He looks about, he shifts about, expecting Lemminkäinen's coming. Now upon a certain day he saw wayward Lemminkäinen coming nearer, getting closer to the river of Tuonela, coming to the angry rapids, to the sacred river's whirlpool. He roused up a water dragon, stalk of cowbane from the river, thrust it through the man's heart, straight through Lemminkäinen's liver, and by the way of his left armpit, into his right shoulder blade. Ahti felt the poison in him, felt the deadly pain go through him, and he thought with bitter anguish, This the worst that I have done, not remembering to inquire of my mother, of my bearer, for at least 2 magic charms, powerful ones perhaps for 3, how to live or how behave in these days of evil omen. I've no charm to heal the wounds inflicted by a water dragon or a cowbane poisoned arrow. O my mother, you who bore me, suffered watching over me, if you knew, if you sensed, where your miserable son is now, you would come without delay, hasten hither to his aid. You would rescue your poor boy from this downward deadly road, from slipping to his final slumber in the vigor of his youth. Then old Wet Hat, the blind herdsman, seized on wayward Lemminkäinen, hurled the son of Kalevala into Tuonela's black river, down into the dreadmost whirlpool. Luckless Lemminkäinen went, hurtling down the gyring rapids, spinning in the downward spiral to the dwellings of the dead. Then the bloody son of Tuoni slashed the body with his saber, clave it with his bloody cleaver, into pieces 5 he chopped it, into 8 divided it, tossed them into Tuoni's river, into Manala's backwaters. Wallow there to the end of time, with your crossbow and your arrows, shooting swans on Tuoni's river, slaughtering seabirds on its bank. This was Lemminkäinen's end, death of that undaunted lover, in the murk of death's black river, and the caverns of the dead. Runot 15. The Resurrection. Back at Lemminkäinen's home, mother worries, always wondering, where has Lemminkäinen got to, my far-minded disappearing? There's no news of his returning from his sojourn in the world. His poor mother does not know, even she who gave him birth, where her own flesh now is wandering, where her own flesh now is flowing. Is it on some cone-strewn hillside, or upon the clear sea surface, on the stormy whitecaps tossing, maybe in some great war fighting, or some horrible rebellion, where the blood is on his shanks, knee-deep in the ruddy gore? Kyllikki, the lovely housewife, gazes turning here and there, and the home of Lemminkäinen on the farm of the far-minded, evenings gazing on his comb, mornings looking at his brush. Then upon a certain day, there upon a certain morrow, from his comb the blood was leaking, from his brush the gore was seeping. Kyllikki, the lovely housewife, said a word and spoke out thus: Now my man is lost to me, handsome man far-minded vanished on his homeless wanderings, somewhere on those nameless roads. From his comb now blood is leaking, from his brush the gore is seeping. Then the mother of Lemminkäinen herself looked on the brush, and her eyes filled up with tears. Oh, the misery of my days, always wretched in my time. Now my boy, unlucky one, my unruly, reckless child, has fallen on some evil chance, ruin on my gallant boy, overtaken by disaster. From his comb now blood is pouring, from his brush the gore is gushing. Then he gathered up her skirt, held him up in her hand. She both ran and rushed along, all the hills about her echoed. Hollowed heightened, hills declined, highlands sank and lowlands rose. Soon she came to Pohjola, where she asked about her son, beseeching Louhi for some news. O you dame of Pohjola, where is now my Lemminkäinen? To what ruin have you sent him? Said the dame of Pohjola, I know nothing of your son, where he went or where he vanished. Sat him in a stallion's sleigh, there behind a fiery racer, maybe drowned in freezing snow slush, stiffening on the icing ocean, maybe swallowed by a wolf, or in Bruin's awful maw. Lemminkäinen's mother countered, That is just a barefaced lie. There's no wolf can eat my kin, or no Bruin slay my son. Wolves he pokes down with his finger, bears he knocks down with his fist. If you do not tell me truly what you've done with Lemminkäinen, I'll break down your newborn door, twist the hinges off your Sampo. Louhi said, I used him well, gave him food till he was filled, gave him drink till he was drunk, served him till his head was nodding. Then I put him in a boat, ready set to run the rapids. Otherwise I know no more where the wretched creature vanished, maybe in some foaming rapids or a crushing river current. But the mother now retorted, Now again you're simply lying. Tell the truth without evasion. Let it be the last of lying. Whither have you sent my boy? How destroyed the son of Kalevala, or I'll chant you into ruin and your soon approaching death? So Dame Louhi made reply, Maybe now I'll tell the truth. Sent him skiing after elks, to outdo the goblin elk, to the bridling of great geldings, and to harness up the colts. Ordered him to seek the swan, to hunt down the sacred bird. But indeed I cannot fathom what fatality has befallen, or what hinders him from coming. There's no word of his returning, coming back to claim his bride, to entreat me for the girl. Then the mother, grieving for him, went out searching for her lost one. As a wolf she roamed wide fenlands, roamed the backwoods as a bear, as an otter searched the waters, scoured the country as a badger, as a hedgehog toward the headlands and the lake shores as a hare, turning over stump and stone, kicking brush and branch aside. Long she hunted for her lost one, long she sought but does not find, even as the trees about him. Her mother's longing was so grievous. A tree spoke, an old pine sighed, artfully the oak replied, I've more worries of my own than to worry about your son. For hard knocks I was created, born to bear the worst of chances, to be split up into kindling, hacked up into measured cordwood, or be dried out in a kiln, or be felled to cut out clearings. Long she hunted for her lost one, long she sought but did not find. When she meets up with a highway, down she humbly bows before it. O you God-created road, have you not seen my son, my golden apple, staff of silver? Artfully the road replied, I've more worries of my own than to worry about your son. For hard knocks was I created, born to bear the worst of chances. Every dog runs over me, trampled down by every horseman, beaten down by every boot, stamped to dust by every heel. Long she hunted for her lost one, long she sought but does not find. When she meets up with the moon, down she humbly bows before him. God-created golden moon, have you not seen my son, my golden apple, staff of silver? Then that God-created moon artfully indeed replied, I've more worries of my own than to worry about your son. For hard knocks was I created, born to bear the worst of chances, all the nights to wander lonely, on the frosty rime to glimmer, keep cold vigil through the winters, but to vanish for the summer. Long she hunted for her lost one, long she sought but does not find. Finally she meets the sun, down she humbly bows before him. O you God-created son, have you not seen my son, my golden apple, staff of silver? Now indeed the son knew something, and he told her what he knew. You poor woman, he has vanished, lost and dead your darling boy, gone down to Anila's dark river, timeless carrier of the dead. Hurtled down the tumbling rapids, taken by the downward current, to the homes of Tuonela, to the caverns of the dead. Then the mother burst out weeping, weeping went on to the smithy. Then she said, O Ilmarinen, you have hammered long ago, hammered even yesterday, hammer now for me today, forge a copper rake with handle, fitting it with iron teeth, teeth 100 fathoms long, 500 fathoms for the handle. So Ilmarinen forged it for her, forged a copper rake with handle, fitting it with iron teeth, teeth 100 fathoms long, 500 fathoms for the handle. Then the mother of Lemminkäinen seized the iron rake and hurried to the river of Tuonela. There she called upon the sun, Thou sun, Jumala's creation, Lord's creation of our light, shine out hotly for a spell, dim and sweaty for a while, and a third time full with blazing, lull to sleep the peevish people, weary out the folk of Mana. Let the powers of Tuoni slumber. Then the god created sun, light of Jumala's creation, settled on a crooked birch tree, on the elbow of an elder, shone out hotly for a spell, dim and sweaty for a while, and a third time full with blazing. Lulled to sleep the very people, tired out the folk of Mana, young men leaning on their swords, old men resting on their sticks, middle-agers on their spears. Then the sun ascended soaring to the level fields of heaven, up to his appointed place, to his station in the sky. Then the mother of Lemminkäinen seized the iron rake and dragged, raking down the roaring rapids, down along the rushing river, fishing for her son, her lost one, rakes and rakes but does not find. So she traveled further downstream, to the pool below the falls, up to her garters in the ooze, to her waistband in the water, rakes along the death-dark river, raking upstream counter-current, dragged it once, dragged it twice, snags the shirt of Lemminkäinen, just a shirt in disappointment, rakes again, snags hat and stockings, only stockings to her sorrow, and the hat to her annoyance. So she moves still lower down, towards the underworld's abysses, raking thoroughly, lengthwise, crosswise, and aslant. Suddenly there is a snag. Caught upon the iron teeth, she beholds a sheaf of grain. It was no sheaf, but Lemminkäinen, he the handsome man far-minded, really caught upon the rake by his left toe and ring finger. Rose the wayward Lemminkäinen, rose the son of Kalevala, to the surface of clear water, snagged up by the copper rake. But some parts of him were missing, one whole hand and half a head, with many other parts and pieces, and his very life itself. Then the mother wondered, weeping, could this still become a man, made anew into a human? Nearby perched a raven listening, then it croaked its grim reply. There's no man in what has gone, truly none in what's to be. Even now his eyes are missing, eaten by the greedy whitefish, and a pike has split his shoulders. Throw the carcass in the water, back into Anella's dark river. Perhaps he'll turn into a cod, or thicken to a monstrous whale. But the mother of Lemminkäinen does not throw him in the river, and instead she goes on raking in the river of Tuonela, along the current and across, with her copper rake outreaching, snags a hand and half the rib cage, many other parts and pieces. Out of these she made anew her boy, her wayward Lemminkäinen. With great care she gathered them, and put the severed parts together, bone to bone and flesh to flesh, joint to joint and vein to vein. She herself tied up the veins, knotted up the ends together, laid a spell upon the vein thread, with this magic charm enchanted. Fair she is, the graceful woman, handsome spirit of the blood veins, lovely spinner of the veins, working with your shapely distaff. Work with the copper spindle whirring, while the iron warve is turning. Hurry here where you are needed. Come, oh come, where you are called for, with a vein skein in your lap, in your arm a fold of membrane. Come and bind the veins together, neatly knit them end to end, where the flesh is raw and severed, and the bleeding open gashes. But if this charm will not do it, there's a virgin still in heaven, rowing in a boat of copper boat with blood red stern. Come, O virgin, from the sky, from the very nave of heaven, set the severed veins in place in their natural positions, all the big veins mouth to mouth, face to face the arteries, other veins ends folded double, tip to tip the capillaries. Take a needle thin as mist, threaded with a silken thread, sew the bleeding ends together, neatly knit with silk and fiber. And if this charm will not do it, may eternal Jamala call his colts, prepare his horses, drive his sleigh through joint and bone, broken flesh and flowing veins, bind the tissue to the bone, veins together end to end, bind the broken bone with silver, and the bleeding vein with gold, replace the broken with the whole, veins and membranes recreate, veins for veins and blood for blood, bone for bone and flesh for flesh, bless them all into their places. Set them whole in healthy order, flesh to flesh and bone to bone, joint to joint and limb by limb. With that, Lemminkäinen's mother put him back together again, reconstructed the young fellow, put him in his former shape. Though her magic healed the veins, neatly knit the veins together, yet she could not give him words, could not charm his tongue to talking. Then she put into words, she herself declared and said, where to find a healing ointment, where to drop of mead be got, to anoint this torpid man, heal the evil-fated one. Then that the man may gain his words, break out singing as of yore, honey-bee, our little bird, king of all the woodland flowers, fly away now for the honey, fetch the needed drop of mead, from the pleasant woodland isle, from the woods of watchful Tapio, from the lips of many a flower, from the tips of many herbs, as a medicine for the sickened, as an ointment for the wounded. So the bee, the nimble bird, flew away soaring lightly, to the pleasant woodland isles, to the woods of watchful Tapio, sucked the flowers of the meadow, cooked the honey on its tongue, from the tip of 6 flowers, and the sheaths of 100 grasses. Back it circles heavily, lumbering with a heavy crowded cargo, with its wings all honey laden, plumage dripping liquid honey. Then the mother took the ointment to anoint the dormant man, heal the evil-fated one. But these salves were useless to him, could not wake the word within him. Honey-bee, my very own one, said the mother, fly again, this time in a new direction, over 9 seas to an island, out upon the open ocean, where the land is rich with honey. To the new-built house of Turi, roofless house of the worshipful, there the honey most delicious, there the best of medicines, which will serve for every vein, and be good for every member. Bring those ointments, fetch those nostrums, for me to put on the wounds, pour them on the injuries. Then the nimble honey-bee, soaring lightly over 9 seas, far as over the 10th one, flew a day and flew another, even on the 3rd day flying, without resting on a reed, without lighting on a leaf, to the island on the sea, where the land is rich with honey, on the brink of foaming rapids, by the sacred river's whirlpool. There they cooked the nectar ready, there the salves were well concocted, in tiny potlets, pretty kettles, just big enough to hold a thumb or to fit a fingertip. Then the honey-bee, the quick one, seized upon these ready ointments. Over a little time passed over a little spell of waiting. There it comes, circling, buzzing, bustling forward with its load, with 6 cupfuls in its lap, 7 cupfuls on its back, full of nostrums, full of salves. So the mother of Lemminkäinen anointed him then with these ointments, with 8 salves and 9 nostrums, but she got no help from them, and indeed none at all. Honey bee, she said once more, bird of air, fly a third time. Fly up to the highest heaven, to the very ninth of heavens. There the honey is overflowing, to the height of your desire, from which once the great Creator, Jumala himself, made magic, for the healing of his children, injured by an evil power. Dip your wings into the honey, pinions in the liquid nectar. Bring the honey on your wings. Fetch the nectar in your mantle as a medicine for the wounded, an infusion for the injured. But the bee, delightful bird, answered her, How can I, a tired weakling, get up there? Answered Lemminkäinen's mother, It's quite easy to get up there, pleasantly to trip along, over the moon and under the sun, and between the stars of heaven. Float a day on easy wings to the temples of the moon. On the next day you will pass by the shoulders of the bear. On the third day you will soar to the back of the 7 stars. Then it's just a bit of travel, just a little weary to journey, on to holy Jamala and the dwellings of the blessed. From the ground the bee sprang up, honey wings up from a tussock, and indeed it flew on lightly, swiftly on its little wings, but the ring about the moon it flew, by the border of the sun, by the shoulders of the bear, past the 7 stars it flew, to the great Creator's cellar, to the realm of the Almighty. There the ointments are prepared, and the nostrums all concocted. In silver pots and golden nettles, mead is boiling in the middle. Butter melting down the sides, honey to the southward flowing, nostrums to northward running. To airy bird, the honey bee, got its honey in abundance. To the height of its desire, after a little spell of waiting, there it comes circling, buzzing, bustling forward with its cargo, 100 hornfuls in its lap, and 1,000 other bumpers, some with honey, some with water, some abrim with choicest ointment. Then the mother of Lemminkäinen took the potions in her mouth, tested them upon her tongue. Well she tasted them with pleasure. These are now the very ointments, nostrums of the High Almighty, with which God himself anointed, the Creator poured on wounds. Then the dormant man she treated, healed the evil fated one, with great care anointed him along the bones, and the cracks along the members, all his members head to toe, rubbed him up and rubbed him down, and massaged him in the middle. Then she spoke the spell of waking. Rise up from your lying down, and awaken from your dreaming, up from all these evil places, from the bed of evil fortune. So the man rose from his sleeping, and awakened from his dreaming. Now he was the words again, to relate what happened to him. Long I slept, long I lay, deep in some delicious dream, sunken in the deepest slumber. His mother said, remembering, longer still you would have slept, lain for eons longer there, without your bad old mother here, she the wretched one who bore you. Tell me now, my luckless son, so that my own ears may hear it, what brought you to the underworld, cast you into Tuoni's river? Said the wayward Lemminkäinen, as he answered to his mother, it was the cattle herder Wet Hat, shut-eyed one of the Untamala, brought me to the underworld, tossed me into Tuoni's river, raised a dragon from the river, winged dragon from the wave, to assail this wretched one, and I did not even know the spell against the dragon's hate, or the keen pains of the cowbane. Said the mother, reminiscing, oh, the stupid, senseless man, boasted he'd outwit the wizards, and ousting the Lapland warlocks, and not know the dragon's hate, keen pains of the cowbane arrow, learn the charm of origin. Water dragon born of water, from the wave the birth of Cowbane, from the good brain in the woe-bird, from the head of water swallow. Once the ogress the devourer spat and blew a blob of spittle, blew it upon the water. Water stretched and lengthened it, and the warm sun softened it, rocked by wind and swung on water, carried shoreward by the billows, by the breakers flung ashore. Then the mother of Lemminkäinen nursed her dear one back to health, to his former handsome self, a little better than before, and more gently than of old. Then she asked him anxiously, "Was there anything amiss?" Said the wayward Lemminkäinen, "There is something troubles me, for in truth my heart is yonder, and my sentiments are there, among the little maids of Northland, with those beautiful lovely locks. The old dame, old mouldy ear, will not let me have her daughter, till I shoot the long-tailed duck, shoot the swan of Tuonela, from the death-dark river of Tuoni, by the sacred river's whirlpool." But to this his mother retorted, "Let your ugly swans alone, and your ugly long-tailed ducks live on Tuonela's black river, swimming round the fiery whirlpool. You are starting home with me, wretched mother that I am. And besides, just thank your luck, and to Jamala give praise, that he gave you back your life, and your way to certain death in the depths of Manala. I could not do anything, alone do nothing whatsoever, without the help of Jamala, without the true Creator's blessing." Then did wayward Lemminkäinen set out homeward with his mother, with his most devoted mother, with his much respected parent. There I'll leave my far-minded now, drop the wayward Lemminkäinen. For a long time from my versing I will interrupt his legend, and will turn my verses elsewhere, wandering off on other pathways.